So if you're new to BlueTree, you can also stay in the chat. Let us know if you're new to BlueTree. Okay. So I think some students might be thinking, what is the meaning of BlueTree? Oh, I see Phoebe. Phoebe is new to BlueTree as well. Okay. So just a quick introduction as to what BlueTree means. Okay. So the blue signifies the wisdom and clarity, which we hope our students will have in the future, and also for tree. Okay, so we know that trees are deep rooted in the soil, in the ground, and that's what we hope our students have as well, a firm foundation. And like a tree that grows higher and higher, right? We also hope our students will be able to achieve greater heights and grow along with BlueTree. Okay. Oh yeah, Shamila's also quite new to BlueTree. Okay, so if you're new to BlueTree, and especially if you're new to Teacher Wendy and Teacher Christina, it's a very quick introduction about both of us. Okay, so hi, I'm Teacher Wendy. Okay,
I'm Teacher Christina.
Yeah, Teacher Christina also. Okay, so Teacher Wendy has been teaching for a couple of years. I'm mainly focused on math and science. Okay, and actually, Teacher Wendy came from Singapore Management University, and but I chose to continue to the education industry because I really like teaching, and I do hope to help the students to grow, and I also want to grow along with them. Okay, so this is for Teacher Wendy. And for Teacher Christina, okay, so I've worked with Teacher Christina for quite a while, and Teacher Christina is very experienced in teaching. Okay, and under her, all of her students have managed to achieve improvements in their results. And I've seen Teacher Christina's classes as well. They are all very engaging and very helpful for the students. Yes, okay, so you'll get to see our teaching today. Okay, so before we go into open-ended and the MCQ questions, it's very important to understand the breakdown of the topics, especially for the P6 students. You are taking PSLE this year, right? Okay, your might think is a bit very far away. Yeah, students will think that PSLE is very far away, but actually, it's not that far away. Okay, so have to be prepared and be familiar with all the topics. Okay, so for P5 and P6 students, you are following the old syllabus whereby the topics are separated by the lower and the upper block. Okay, but for P3 and P4 students, if there are any here today, you'll be following a more structured P3, P4, P5, P6 topics. Okay, yeah, so for P5 and P6 students, these are the topics that is under your syllabus. Okay, you can see that for P5 students, okay, you'll be focusing a lot on systems, which I would say is very content heavy. Okay, and for the P6 students, your focus is a lot on forces and energy, and these two topics are also very commonly tested in PSLE lah. Yeah, Teacher Christina, you got any other things you want to add on regarding the topics for PSLE?
Just to let all of you know, for today we are focusing on forces, because forces is a challenging topic that some students they find that is difficult to comprehend. So what we're going to do later on is we will have a few questions on forces, both for MCQ and open-ended. So hopefully through these sessions, right, the students will benefit from this, and then they will be able to understand the question better and then to answer it full of confidence to score AL1.
Yeah, thank you, Teacher Christina. Okay, so when we look at science, right, I have a lot of parents and students asking me if there are any strategies to tackle the science questions. Of course, there are. Okay, so let's take a look at the strategies. So first thing, you need to look at the question and identify what are the key topics that is being tested. This will help you to structure your thought process such that you don't stray into the wrong topic. Okay? Okay, highlight the key question term. Okay, so for science, there's a great variety of question terms. Explain why, which, state something something, describe something something. Okay, all these are question terms that's important so that you can answer directly to the question and not answer something that the question doesn't want you to. Okay? Highlight key information. Okay, so science questions are very often very, very lengthy. Okay, there are like 2-3 paragraphs and many words. Okay, so it's very important to highlight or underline key information, which I always stress my students to do so that you can easily see, oh, this is the important things that I need to take note. Okay. Use key answering technique. Okay, so this is especially for open-ended questions. Okay, in BlueTree, we have the ABC technique. Okay, for BlueTree students, you should be quite familiar with ABC already. I think your teachers have been saying it. So for non-BlueTree students, okay, this is the first time that you are hearing ABC. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what exactly is ABC, right? Okay. So first is answer with a choice. Yes. So answer with a choice means that you can choose yes or no. I agree, I disagree. Or sometimes they may ask you to choose material A, B, or C, or setup A, B, or C. All these are answer with a choice. Okay. Then back with evidence. So back with evidence, I always tell my students, what do you see or what do you read from the question that tells you that is the answer? Okay, always refer back to the question. Okay, so let's take a look at last one, C. So after we know what is the evidence, right, we need to explain using our science concepts. Okay, so with that, we are going to start with the MCQ questions first, and then after that, we are going to go into the open-ended ones. Okay, so you have to get ready your phones to snap a picture or get ready your pen and pencil to write it down. Okay, now I'm going to pass my time to teacher Christina, who will go through the MCQ with you.
Great. So now today, right, we are going to go through PSLE 2022 MCQ question. So first, let's start off with the easy question, question 16. Okay, now, which of the following is not an effect of a force? Now, the key thing is, we will highlight not. Okay, so, teacher Wendy, can you help me click? The next one will be effect, and the next one will be on force. So if you can see, right, there are actually 4 statements, okay? So these are the 4 statements, but before that, remember, the question is asking about which of the following is not an effect of a force. So let's revise through. Can anybody recall what are the effects of forces? There are 5 of them. Anyone can share with us? Can type in the chat. Okay, I always ask my students to remember this. Okay, now the effects of a force, right, will be number 1, start, stop, change. So what do we start? First of all, we'll start a stationary object. That means to say the object is not moving. You start it so that you will move. Okay, the second one will be stop a moving object. Okay, third one, what do we change? We will change the speed. Okay, and what do we change next? We will change the direction. And the last one will be change the speed. Okay, so if let us take a look at the first option here, will be a rolling ball coming to a stop. So what will be the effects of a force for this? It will be number 1, stop a moving object. So is this an effect? Yes, it is. Okay, very good. Let's take a look at number 2. Now, the thing is that a paper aeroplane turning in the air. So what does it mean? It will be change the direction of a moving object. So this is also the effect of a force. Next one, number 3, forming clay into a doll. So that means what are you doing? So you are actually changing the shape of an object. So is this an effect of a force? Yes, it is. Now, number 4, light passing through a glass pane. Now, the thing is that light is a form of energy. So it has nothing to do with force. So it will also not show any effects of force. So this one should be easy. So what's the answer, all of you? It will be number 4. Yes, very good. Some of you, let me see. Yeah, very good. Some of you can actually share with us, start, stop, change. So we actually emphasize this because for science, there's a lot of information. So these are some of the small little things that we actually encourage students to remember so that they can actually apply. Okay, so are you ready for the next question? Okay, so let's move on to question 20. Okay. Now, John placed 2 magnets P and Q close together as shown. So this is the picture given. Now, the question is, what was the direction of the magnetic force acting on P and the direction of friction acting on Q when John released Q? So the options are given as well. Okay, now the main thing will be magnetic force acting on P. Okay, so this is the key thing that they are looking out for. Secondly will be the friction acting on Q. Okay, so these are the two things. So straight away, this topic is okay. This question is actually on forces. Now, before you actually see all the arrows, right, you need to do labeling. So if you take a look, right, okay. So if you take a look, south is here. So what should the polarity be? It will be north. Then for Q, right, if one side is south, the other side will be north. So north and north, what are they? P forward, they are like poles, right? And what do like poles do? They repel. So how would the arrow looks like if they repel? So as indicated, right? Okay. So it will be, if you see the arrow on the left, okay, then the next arrow will be on the right. Okay. So you see, they repel. Now, so the thing is that if you are talking about magnetic force acting on P, you see this arrow here on the left is moving this way. So now, some of you will quickly jump, oh, is it number 3 or is it number 4? Now, remember for MCQ, it can be very tricky. So I always get my students to put a small little tick at the side. So option 3 and option 4 is acceptable for now. Now, let's take a look at friction acting on Q. Now, friction opposes motion. So if you notice, right, movement is like this. Friction will be the opposite side. So this arrow here will indicate the friction. So what would it be? It will be 2 and 4. So which one will have the 2 ticks? It will be option number 4. Now, if you take a look at the keywords, right? So it means to say that like poles repel, you need to know. And then friction opposes motion. Okay? So the answer will be number 4. So did all of you get this correct? Very good. Yes, I see quite a number of you actually get the correct answers. Okay, now let's move on to question 27. Now, 3 springs X, Y, Z have the same length. Okay, when the springs are hung using 3 identical blocks, the results are as shown. So you need to understand what does this diagram means. Now, this diagram means to say that, right, all of them will actually extend by 4 cm. Okay, now, so the question is, which graph shows the relationship between the elastic spring force and the extension of the springs X, Y, and Z? So the keyword will be relationship, elastic spring force, extension. So now, based on this picture here, right, it means to say all the springs, right, they will actually extend by 4 cm. So for X, right, with 4 cm extension, it will be able to hold 3 identical blocks. Okay, you can see over here, 3 identical blocks. Now for Y, they extend by 4 cm, but it can hold 2 identical blocks. Then for Z, right, 4 cm, it can only hold 1 block. So what does this tell you? Can anyone tell me? So can anyone tell me which one is the steepest spring? X, Y, or Z? Type in the chat. Tell me, is it X? Is it Y? Is it Z? Which one is the steepest spring? Okay, some of you say X, some of you say Z. Okay, now spring X will actually be the steepest spring. So when it is the steepest spring, what does this tell you? It will exert the most elastic spring force, right? Okay, then next, if you take a look at the options, right, okay, they are given 4 different graphs. Now for P6, you must understand what does this graph means. So before I actually show you, right, can anyone tell me what do you think is the answer? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Just type. I want to see, you know, how do you all know, or maybe you can make a guess. What should the answer be? Okay, some of you say 3, 3. Okay, some of you not very sure. 1. Okay, now, so let me go through with you what is the answer for this one. The answer should be 3. Now, how do you know the answer is 3? Okay, let's analyze the graph. Okay, so what you need to do, right? Okay, so the next clip, right? So like what I mentioned to you, the 3 springs. Now, if the answer is actually number 3, why is it number 3? Okay, what you need to do is draw a line. So this will indicate that the extension is by 4 cm. It's the same throughout for X, Y, Z. Then you actually, there's the point that cuts between Z and the line, right? Okay, so you just draw a line. So this is for Z. The other one for Y where the point meets. So this is for Y. Okay, and the last point here is X. So am I right to say based on this one, the extension is the same, but X would actually have the greatest elastic spring force? Correct or not? Number one is actually the opposite, if you notice it. So a lot of students, they get confused. Now remember, for P6 students, right, analyzing graph is one of the important skills that you need to know, okay, for science, because you get to see a lot of data and all this, so you need to know how to interpret the graph. So during our normal daily lessons, right, we also do teach our students how to analyze all these data so that they will be able to understand the questions. Okay, so the answer for this will be number 3. So far all good? Okay, next I will actually get Teacher Wendy to move on to the open-ended questions now. Okay, Teacher Wendy.
Okay, hello. So I'm back. Okay, so I think some of you might need to take a screenshot or a picture of the question. Okay, so just want to remind you that elastic spring force is actually a very challenging concept, okay? But don't give up, because we're always here to help you, okay? Okay, so after we are done with the MCQ, we will go into the open-ended questions, okay? So get ready your phones if you need to take a picture, because open-ended question will be very lengthy. Yes, okay? Okay, so we are going to start with this question that is with this diagram here. So let's read the question first. Okay, Kumar set up the apparatus as shown. Okay, AB and CD are identical iron rods and they are fixed in place. Okay, PQ is an iron bar with a hammer at one end and it is resting on a fixed metal nail. Okay, so some keywords, key information that we need to highlight include AB and CD that fixed. Okay, fixed means they cannot move. Okay, and PQ is also an iron bar. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at the diagram itself. Okay, when we talk about iron rods, one thing we need to remember is that iron rods are metal, right? So they can conduct electricity. And another special thing about iron is that it is a magnetic material. So this will give you some clue as to how you can answer the question. Okay, so part A will ask, when you close the switch, the hammer struck the bell repeatedly to give a continuous ding 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 sound. Okay, so you need to explain how the sound was produced. Okay, so keywords is you need to take note. Okay, he closed the switch and the hammer struck the bell repeatedly. Okay, so this topic is on electrical system with a bit about magnets as well. Okay, so let's see how this entire thing actually works. Okay, so when the switch is closed, okay, electric current can start to flow through. Okay, when electric current starts to flow through, the iron rods are magnetized to become electromagnets. Okay, can anyone tell me, okay, maybe you can type in the chat and let me know what will happen next after the iron rods are being magnetized. Okay, what will happen next? Okay, so now time to think. Okay, so what will happen when AB and CD are magnetized? Okay, so I see a keyword here. Okay, I see some good answers. Okay, excellent. Okay, so some of you said the rod will be attracted. That is very good. Okay, but some of you tell me that the nail gets attracted. Okay, so take note, students. The nail is fixed. The nail cannot move. Okay, you should refer the rod as PQ so that you don't confuse yourself. Of course, in this diagram, there are many different parts. So you need to name it appropriately. Okay. Okay. I see that there's an answer that says that these two magnets, A, B, and CD, will attract each other. Okay. Take note. Okay. A, B, and CD are fixed, which means they cannot move. Okay. So that means A, B, and CD cannot attract each other like this. Okay. So these are the key things that you need to know from this question. Okay, So let's move on. Okay, so some of you got this correct. Excellent. Okay, PQ will be attracted to AB and CD, and therefore the hammer, okay, will hit the bell, okay, producing the ting sound. Okay, but why is it repeatedly ting ting ting, right? It's because once PQ is being attracted, so it moved up, right? So PQ moved up. Okay, once PQ is attracted, it's no longer touching the metal nail because it moved up. So when it's no longer touching the nail, the circuit becomes open. Okay, so when the circuits become open, okay, when it goes up, the circuit is open. Okay, so there's no more electric current going through. So what will happen to the magnets here? What will happen to ABCD? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, ABCD will be demagnetized. Okay, excellent. So I see it will be demagnetized, and then the spring will go back to its original position. So the spring, when it goes up, it gets compressed like this, right? Okay, but when you demagnetize, PQ falls back, it will go back like that. Okay, so I see some of your answers are excellent. Okay, let's put all of these steps into our answer. Okay, so I always tell my students, right? Okay, when you're answering this kind of questions, you are actually saying a story. Okay, when you're saying a story, you need to start from the start all the way to the end. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can phrase our answer. Okay, so we are in the topic of electrical system. The important keywords in electrical system is closed circuit, electric current can flow through. Open circuit, electric current cannot flow through. I tell my students these two are always a couple. You need to write them together. So if you only tell me closed circuit, you will not get the full marks. If you only tell me electric current can flow through, you also don't get the full marks. Okay, so this is important to take note. Okay, the answer is a bit lengthy because you need to explain from the start to the end. Okay, so like what I have explained just now, when we close the circuit, when we close the switch, the circuit will be closed, and then the electric current will be able to flow through, and that's why ABCD will become electromagnets. They will attract PQ, the hammer hits the bell, producing the ting sound. Okay? So when PQ moves up, okay, it is disconnected from the nail. Okay, the circuit becomes open and electric current cannot flow through. Okay, so when electric current cannot flow through, ABCD are demagnetized and no longer attract PQ. Okay, so PQ will fall back and then the whole cycle repeats again. That's why there's a ting 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 sound. Okay, so some of the keywords that you need to mention in your answer. Okay, because the answer is very lengthy, so I highlight the keywords for you. Okay, so first thing, circuit is closed, electric current can flow through. Remember, they are a couple. They come together. Okay? Then after that, ABCD are magnetized and they will attract PQ. Okay? Then the next keyword is PQ is disconnected, so the circuit becomes open and electric current cannot flow through. So one more time, I remind you, okay, they are a married couple, they come together. Okay? Then you say AB and CD are no longer magnetized, then they won't attract PQ. And the last thing to actually conclude the story, to end the story, is that you need to tell me that the cycle repeats. Okay, that's why there's a ting 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 sound. Okay, if you don't tell me the cycle repeats, then it won't be ting ting ting, it will just be ting, then that's all. Okay, so I'll just pause here for maybe 3 seconds so that students can either take a picture or maybe there are certain things that you want to write down. Okay? Okay, I will move on to part B. Okay, this answer and question is a bit long. Okay? Okay. Okay, so for part B, could I replace the spring with a stronger spring of the same size? Okay, when you close the switch, okay, the hammer struck the bell repeatedly. Okay, state one effect on the sound produced and explain your answer. Okay, so take note, highlight the important keywords. They use a stronger spring. Okay, and also take note of what the question is asking. State one effect on the sound. Okay, I have students who always like to not answer the question. Okay, if the question asks you about sound, you tell me about sound. Okay, you don't tell me about any other things. Okay, so you cannot tell me about speed. You cannot tell me about any other things. Okay, so you must tell me about sound. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can analyze this question. Okay, so this is actually related to forces already. Okay, so back to the forces. So when PQ is being attracted, there's actually a magnetic force pulling PQ up. Okay, there's a force that is pulling PQ up. Okay. But what is the elastic spring force? Okay, so the elastic spring force is actually pushing PQ down. Okay, so this is the more challenging concept. Okay, elastic spring force is the force that brings the compressed spring back to its shape. Okay, because when PQ moves up, the string becomes compressed. Okay, then it will want to go back to its, release and go back to its original shape. So the force will want to push it back to its original. So actually the elastic spring force is downwards, which is in the opposite direction of the magnetic force. Okay, so you have to take note the direction of the forces. Okay, because the magnetic force is going upwards, but the elastic force is going downwards. Okay, so they are working against each other. Okay, so then we can see how we can answer this question. Okay, so let's go on to the next part. Okay, so this question, right, they ask you to state an effect and explain your answer. So actually we can use our ABC technique. Okay, so you need to take note that stronger spring means that it has more elastic spring force. Means that it will want to push PQ downwards even more. Okay, so when the elastic spring force is greater, okay, but the magnetic force is still the same, okay, it means that there will be less magnetic force that can pull PQ upwards. Okay, so one more time, if there is more elastic spring force, okay, but the magnetic force is still the same, okay, when we change to a stronger spring, there will be less magnetic force pulling it up. Okay, think about it. If you use a stronger spring, means it's harder to compress, right? Okay, which means that PQ is harder to go up also. Okay, so that's why actually the sound is not going to be louder. It's actually going to be softer. Okay, because the going up is not as strong already. Okay, so remember, my students always have trouble finding evidence. Evidence is either something you read or you see from the question. Okay, so in this, the question already says stronger spring. So evidence, we can just say that because the spring is changed to a stronger spring, okay, and the concept is the one that we explained just now. Because it has a greater elastic spring force, which push PQ down, there will be less magnetic force causing PQ to go up. Okay, that's why the sound will be softer. Okay, so this question is challenging. It's really, really challenging. Okay, so I want you to take maybe 10 seconds or so to kind of digest this information. Okay, so elastic spring force is a difficult concept. Okay. If you have any questions, do not be shy. You can just reach out to us. Okay. Then we are left with actually the last question for 36. Okay, not the last question of today, last question of 36. Okay. So 36B, okay, now this is C. There's a bit of typo in the slides. Okay. So State the effect on the sound produced if the fixed metal nail is replaced with a wooden rod of the same size and shape. Okay, so same thing, highlight the important keywords that are asking you the effect on the sound. So you cannot tell me any other things, okay? And it's replaced with a wooden rod. Okay, so there are many parts to the diagram, so you need to know which part it replaced. Okay, we replace the fixed nail at the bottom. Okay, so we know that wood is an electrical insulator. Okay, so if we put that in, the circuit will not be closed, right? Okay, so same thing. This question is actually very similar to just now that question. Okay, state the effect, right? Okay, so you need to tell me that no sound will be produced. And why? Okay, the evidence is already in the question because the metal nail is changed to a wooden rod, and wooden rod is an electrical insulator. The circuit will be open and no electric current can flow through. So one more time. Okay, if circuit is open and no electric current can flow through, it comes together. Okay, so don't be lazy. Always write them together. Okay, I will pause here for a while. If you need, you can snap a quick picture. Okay, then we will move on to the second open-ended. Yeah, so I see a good answer, right? Okay, it will not make any sound, okay? Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, next one is question 37. Okay, so in this question, Peter has a flying bird toy as shown in the diagram. Okay, so when he turns the handle, okay, the rubber band will become twisted and the plastic wings will move up and down as shown in the diagram. Okay, so what Peter did is he turned the handle 50 times and he threw the toy up into the air. So the toy flew higher from A to B, then same height from B to C, and it goes downwards to D. Okay, so let's highlight some of the key things. Rubber band becomes twisted. This gives you an idea that it's related to elasticity. Okay, and then the wings move up and down. Okay, so there's movement. Okay, so if you look at the question, right, you'll see the boxes, and then the question already say main forms of energy. Okay, this tells you that this question is on the topic of energy forms. Okay, so I want some of you to try and tell me what should we fill in the first box. Okay, for BlueTree students, you actually learn about energy forms, so y'all should know what should go in the first one. Okay. Okay, I see some good answers. Okay, very good. Excellent. Oh, okay. Okay, so I think some P6 students, right, you might not have learned energy in school yet. Okay, so some students learn energy first, some students learn forces first. Okay, so it's very common that students mix up energy and forces. Okay, in this, be careful. The question is asking you main forms of energy, so we shouldn't see any word that's related to forces. Okay, so I see a lot of good answers. I see some of you tell me it's elastic spring force. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so when you do this kind of question, it's also very important to take note what is the starting and the ending point. Okay, so in this question, the starting is A. Okay, so excellent. Y'all told me it's elastic potential energy. Take note, it is not elastic spring force. Okay, be careful. It's common and normal to mix these two up. Okay, so it is the elastic potential energy in the band. Okay, so as it goes up, okay, what kind of energy is it converted to? Okay, okay, I see some excellent answers. Okay. Okay, When it's going up, very good. I see some of y'all tell me kinetic, excellent, okay? Kinetic is one of it. Another one is it is going up. So it should be gravitational, okay? So excellent, okay? Some of you, just be careful, okay? Some of you will tell me heat energy. In this case, heat energy is actually not accepted because they are asking you for main form of energy, okay? So heat, yes, there is heat energy, but it is not the main one that we are looking at. Okay, so the main one we are looking at is kinetic and gravitational. Okay, so for students, I tell my students, actually you don't need to write elastic or gravitational. Potential energy is good enough, okay? So you see the elastic is in brackets, so you don't write. Okay, you can just write potential energy. So kinetic energy as well as gravitational potential energy. Very good. Okay, so some takeaways from this question are, don't mix up forces and energy. Okay, next one is you always write the main form of energy. Okay, okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so explain why the toy flew lower and lower from C to D. Okay, let's take a look. So as you can see in the diagram, it goes lower. Okay, so at the top, the main energy that the toy has is gravitational potential energy. Okay, as it is moving down, it gains kinetic energy. Okay, but what happens that causes it to stop at the end, right? Okay, let's take a look. It is actually very similar to your paper plane. Okay, I'm sure most of y'all have tried to fold a paper plane before. Okay, so first thing you need to tell me is that the gravitational potential energy will be converted to kinetic energy of the toy. Okay, so actually a lot of you have been telling me about friction. Okay, yes, friction is very important in this case. It's because there is air resistance, which is something like friction in the air that causes the toy to go down and eventually goes to a stop. Okay. Because of air resistance, the kinetic energy will be converted to heat and sound energy. Okay, that's why the toy will eventually stop because it no longer has kinetic energy. It is converted or lost as heat and sound energy. Okay, so just need to take note when you're answering the question. Because this question is about energy, so if you only mention, oh, there's friction or frictional force, okay, it will not be accepted. Because you need to answer in terms of energy, okay? Yeah, just try, when the topic is on energy, try your best to write, explain in terms of energy. Okay, there's one more thing that I want to emphasize here is that whenever we talk about energy, right, you realize that Teacher Wendy always say, energy of what? Energy of what? Okay, so I've told my students as well, when you talk about energy, you cannot just stop there. You need to tell me energy of the toy, or is it energy of something else? Okay, the energy belongs to where or what thing? Okay. Okay, so this is for part B. Okay, so there's a typo here again. Okay, it's part C. Okay. So Peter added another rubber band of the same type to the toy. Okay, so same thing. He turned 50 times, which is the same as just now. Okay, then he threw the air. Okay, threw into the air, and then now you're supposed to draw the line. Okay, my dear students, please, when you're drawing, please use pencil. Okay, I always tell my students to use pencil. Okay, but students, you always like, oh, don't want to change. Then just use pen to draw. And then you draw already, right? Then you'll be like, draw wrong. Then, you use correction tape and all that. Okay, so to avoid all these kind of situations, whenever it comes to drawing, use pencil. Okay, so they want you to draw a line to show the new path of the toy. Okay, so the key thing is that he added another rubber band. So you must think, if we add another rubber band, what happens? Okay, Okay, so students, maybe you can let me know what do you think will happen when you add another rubber band? Is it going to fly higher, fly lower, or is it going to be the same? Okay, what do you think? Fly higher, fly lower, or do you think it will be the same? Okay, so I have a lot of students telling me higher. Excellent. Okay, so actually this question did not ask you to explain. Okay, but we will take a look at why is it higher, right? Okay, let's see. Oh, excellent. I see that because it has more spring, some students tell me that there is more elastic potential energy, right? So correct. Okay, when he adds a rubber band, there will be more potential energy. And then when we talk about energy, we always talk about converter. Okay, when there's more potential energy, it can convert to more kinetic and gravitational potential energy. So the toy will fly higher. Okay, so but of course we need to end the story, right? Okay, so it will go down, but it will go further, okay, because it goes higher, so there's more gravitational potential energy, so there's more kinetic energy, that's why it goes further. Okay. Okay, so anyone has any questions so far? Okay. Some of your answers are excellent. Okay. Yeah, so just a reminder. Sometimes my students like to say this kind of thing. Make energy, produce energy. Don't use those kind of words, okay? Because energy cannot be created, okay? So it cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, okay? Which means energy can only be converted from one to another, okay? Okay, so I think so one of you asked whether like the downslope, should it start further or should it start at the same point? Okay, so most importantly, it needs to be higher than this graph and it ends at a further point than this. Okay, so the question is actually looking at a higher as well as a further point. Okay, whether or not it starts to go down at the exact same point or not is not that important, but preferably it goes a bit longer. Okay, the key thing is still the further distance as well as the higher height. Okay. Okay, so I have a question that said that how would students know like the downslope needs to end at the further distance, right? Okay, so take note, when you go up higher, okay, there's more gravitational potential energy. So because there's more gravitational potential energy, there will be more kinetic energy. So more kinetic energy means it can go further. Okay, so more kinetic energy means it can go faster and further. Okay. Okay. So if you have any questions, I also have a lot of students ask me this. Okay. If energy cannot be created or destroyed, where does the very first energy come from, right? Okay. This is kind of like a chicken and egg question. Like chicken comes first or egg comes first, that kind of thing. Okay, so at first, okay, so basically energy is already there when Earth was created in the first place. Okay, but how is Earth created? So according to the science theories is the Big Bang theory. Okay, so that will go much deeper into how Earth is created in the first place. Okay? It's a very complicated concept. Okay, so I'm gonna slowly move on. Okay, so this is actually the last question that we'll be going through today. So I hope this gives you a sneak peek. Some of you might not have learned forces and energy. So I hope that this gives you a sneak peek into how energy and forces are like. Energy and forces questions are not easy. Okay. So you need to practice a lot so that you can gain confidence in this kind of questions. Okay, so we will move on. If you have any more questions, feel free to let us know. Okay, then we will answer you one by one. Okay, so Teacher Christina will go through with you some of the exciting updates we have at BlueTree.
Thank you, Teacher Wendy. So now we have some exciting updates. So firstly, I would like to talk about will be the math flashcards and workbook. So some of you might have known, okay, that Teacher Wendy, the next slide. Yeah. So for math flashcards and workbook, right? So if you notice, we actually do sell this, and the first print, right, it was so overwhelmed response that we actually sell every single thing. Yeah, so now we did a reprint of the second print. Okay, so this one, right, basically it actually have the teaching notes and tips, and the questions that we actually come up with is exam type that is very much similar to PSLE question. So if let's say you want to browse through the copy, right, you can visit us at any of our branches, then you can take a look. So if there's stock, you can actually purchase it at our branch. So if not, you can actually go to our website, our BlueTree website. So you can actually click on it and then you can pay it through credit card. So for center wise, we don't accept cash, so it will be through the PayNow. Yeah. So how about science? So next upcoming science product that we have. Okay. So for this science workbook, okay, the unit of cell for P5, P6, right? Do remember, P5, P6 will be under the old syllabus. So cells will be part of the PSLE syllabus in it. Now for this one, right, there will be concise and comprehensive learning notes. So they will have various exam types of PSLE questions. So they have answers with very detailed explanation. So, and the upcoming, we will have science topical flashcards. So this should be ready by end February or maybe early March. Yeah. Okay, so do take a look at our, maybe you can go to our website to take a look at the kind of products that we have for sale. Then do buy fast because it always sells out very fast. And we have very good reviews, not just only from parents, from students as well, because they find that it's easier to understand and it actually helps them in their revision. Yeah. Okay, and then the next we have our Chinese New Year promotion. Now, for those who are new, you have not signed up with BlueTree, right? If you sign up for our regular tuition program, you will get an instant $88 off from your fee. Okay, so this is valid for primary levels. Now, how about existing BlueTree student? If you are our existing BlueTree student, if you sign up a new subject, you will also be entitled to $88 off from your bill. Yeah, so remember this promotion will end till 15th of February, so which is like 2 weeks from now. Okay, so this is our Chinese promotion. And then our holiday program. Now, this MAP program that we have is very popular. Usually, holiday program will be during the March, June, September, and October. So for the MAP program is Marks Accelerator program. Now, what is so special about this Marks Accelerator program is that actually 95%, right, of our past students, they find it very helpful and it actually helps them in terms of improving their grades. And then, of course, we have very good track records. Because this is an intensive revision, so this is different from the regular tuition program or the PPC program. Now, so the next part will be, what is this MAP program about? If you are in P5, P6, right, there will be actually 2 modules for each subject. So science, 2 modules, math, 2 modules. Then for Chinese and English, we have as well. So it will be 2.5 hours for each module. Now, some of you say, I have younger siblings, so do you have MAP program for them? Yes, we have P3, P4, but P3, P4, they will have 1 module each and it will only be 2 hours. So we have early bird discount if you sign up before 25th of February. So for our existing BlueTree students, we actually have given out the letter, so you can sign up. For those who are new, right, do take note that we will be opening this up for booking from 16th of February. So right now, the early bird discount, if you sign up for 1 module, you'll be entitled to $10.90 off. If you sign up for any 3 modules, right, there will be 10% off. Okay, so it's an additional 10% off. So you can do a mix and match, like maybe you have signed for 2 science, 1 math, or 1 math, 2 science, or whatever combination, it can be done. Okay, but for more information, right, please contact our number 9616-0312. 9616-0312. You can actually call them or you can WhatsApp them. Then they will try to reply you as soon as possible. So if you find that there are so many promotion or you want to know the programs that we have, feel free to drop them a text and they will actually reply you. Okay, so our contact details, right? Okay, you can actually call us or you can actually email us at contact@bluetreeeducation.com, and then please like and follow our BlueTree Education Facebook because we have all the sharings there. We have different posts, so you may actually know because we do have upcoming webinars, so you can actually take a look at the timing and what are we covering. So at least this will give you an insight of what do you think will benefit you. If not, you can actually share with your friends, to come and actually listen to us and then share. Okay, and then you can join us at our discussion groups. We have primary math discussion group as well as primary science. We also do have BlueTree secondary education for secondary level. So you can do a search and then you can join us. Okay, so far, right? Okay, do you have any questions pertaining to our programs?
The holiday program is also available for secondary students. So let's say if they have siblings that are in secondary school and they want this kind of like intense holiday revision before their assessments or just want to revise their topics again, we highly recommend you to give it a try. Okay, so it's available for both BlueTree as well as non-BlueTree students. So it's not like you have to be a BlueTree student to join.
So it's open to everybody. So if let's say you have any questions, right, do remember our number 9616-0312. So they'll be able to advise you better as well as what we cover, the schedule and everything. And because there are really limited slots, so we don't open up many slots. So once the slot is full already, then we're going to close the registration. So it's on a first come first serve basis upon making payment. Okay, so if let's say for existing BlueTree students, if you find that you're new to math program and you want to know more information, you can actually talk to the teachers. Okay, you can talk to teacher Wendy or myself. We are both teaching at Tampines and Choa Chu Kang. You can speak to us. If not, you can actually speak to our CO. They'll be around at the counter to actually advise you. Okay, so I think that's about all for today. So is there any questions that you all would like to ask us before we end tonight's session?
I think some parents might be wondering like, the math program and the normal lessons, like what's the difference, right? Okay, so for our normal lessons, we usually go through like topical concepts followed by practice questions. Okay, and nearing to the assessments, there is like revision papers and all that. Okay, but for math, it's quite intense. Okay, so it's a very good place for you to just be very focused on the revision. Okay, it's an intense revision program. Okay,
so we actually focus more on challenging questions that you can ask your child for PSLE, and then even those who are not taking PSLE, like your P5 or your P4, right, it actually helps you to understand the concepts better and then to apply, in terms of the answering techniques. All this will be taught during the math program itself. So this is something that if let's say, for example, you want to get your child to actually master the topics, okay, then you can actually sign up for a math program. So it's very, very popular. Usually we also do have parents, right, who will actually just join our holiday program, which is the math program. So throughout the whole year. Okay. So far, do you have any questions pertaining to our programs or promotion? So if you are keen, right, do remember to sign up early. Okay. So remember, we have math program for 4 subjects. We have math, science, English, and Chinese. So depending on location and depending on the timing. So we have online as well as physical classes for you to choose. So holiday is a very good time for your child to actually revise, especially for P6. You don't have enough time. You are very strapped of time because now it's already February. So PSLE is in September. So the things that you do not have time, you have to be ready, right? Latest when prelims come, which is in August. So in August, right, you cannot cram all the revision within a month because you have 4 subjects. So all this will slowly help you to revise through, to space out your revision. At least, you can actually master certain topics at different timing, and then you'll be able to actually, handle the revision part. Okay, so hope to see all of you join us for our math program. So if there's no questions, I think we can end the sessions, and then thank you everybody so much for your time.
Thank you.
Enjoy your
Have
evening.
a pleasant night.
Yes.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.